We can hear you, but we can't
see me?
Yes, better.
So good to see you all. Yes, I mean, I can share with you some preliminary ideas, and actually I'm very happy to share just preliminary ideas, because I think that this is something that we need to put together, that is not, it's not about Secretariat, about Grethel, it's about us. So I'm very happy to present to you these preliminary ideas so that we can have some time to discuss. So let me start from the beginning. So since I think last year, we have been discussing, this idea that how can we, present IUCN as a union, with all that it takes to call it a union. And there have been very good developments. For example, I feel, and this is my own feeling, let me put can you see the PowerPoint? No. Let me share my screen. Now, can you see it?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
So, let me start from the beginning. I think you are in the last. Nah. So then, talking to many people, including some of you in the different places that we have seen each other, I thought, well, let's do something that could be called the power of a union. Thinking about this huge network that we have, an organization, but that sometimes we work in silos, and sometimes we're very efficient and we achieve the goal of working together, commissions and members and secretariat. In the last year, we have been working a lot on putting these webinars, in creating the members zone that I'm sure Ian already shared with all of you, in trying to develop tools for the members, for us to service the members, I will say. But, I have discussed with the executive board at the secretariat level that that's very good. I think we have advanced a lot, but that probably we are not really capturing yet what is exactly the power of a union. And so I was probably insisting, or I push a lot, so that now we have the possibility in this in 2023 with some small but very useful funds to deliver something called the power of a union. And I understand that Bruno shared with you some ideas, and then he said, and talk to Grethel. And the talk to Grethel is because I'm leading this for now. And this is we're just at the beginning. So what are the objectives of this idea is to inspire members to continue believing in this union, to make members proud to be part of IUCN, or I should say even prouder, to remind members of their power when they act together, when we all act together, and to attract new members. How we're going to do this? And this is the part where, of course, I will welcome a discussion. At the beginning, I thought, so what are those things that we don't do just as individual parts? So, for example, one can say that, the Secretariat work a lot on MBS tools. Yes, we did. That some members have put a lot of effort in projects related to oceans. Yes. But what is the thing that we do together that is most visible to external audiences? So I thought that one of those is the motions that become resolutions. And, we have many. So, but what are those among the many where we can actually say, yes, we achieve this big goal? And our, our members push for that. Secretariat created the knowledge tools, commissions came on board providing scientific knowledge. Everybody had a piece and we achieved this result. I mean, you can, I can share some, but you can also share your own stories around IUCN. But those things, and I'm not talking about going back, 15, 50 years back. I'm talking, in the last, let's say, 3-5 years. What are those stories that tell us that being a IUCN member is powerful? So those are the stories that I think we could work on it. We can hear the voices of the different corners of this institution, and that we should show, because one of the things is that even though we do all of this, we're not very visible. Honestly, I mean, as a union, as we working together, we need more visibility. And that is the other part of this equation. So the idea is to launch a campaign, a huge campaign on the power of a union and showing what we do together. And campaign is, we will need, of course, probably a PR company or someone, or I don't know if it's a company, a person, someone that can design together with us this campaign so that this can be presented this year, and that we achieve that aim, that visibility, and that also, this is to inspire members, to inspire others to see IUCN. So why this will make us stronger? I think that it will make us stronger because we will be able to see some of the things that we can achieve together. Because, of course, united we're better, and because some people don't believe that the power is in numbers, but actually to have, 1,500 members and more than 16,000 commission members, those numbers have to tell the story. And I'm sure that there are so many good moments and stories that we can show why it's good to be part of IUCN. So with that, this is the idea. And now, we really need to start moving and putting this in concrete terms. But before, I move with this idea, I have shared with you my initial thoughts. These are initial thoughts. This can be shaped in many different ways. I already had a meeting with a IUCN communications team. They seem to believe that this will be like an outreach or communication campaign from how they speak in the communication world. For me, if I share with you, I have this this goal of making IUCN visible in a way where we all believe that it is good to be part of IUCN. So I'm going to stop here because I was looking more for your ideas, your thoughts, and how can we move this together. So thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Grethel. I'm sure that's prompted lots of thoughts from people around the table. Perhaps I can just start with saying I find myself very happily part of an editorial board for IUCN's new member magazine. And as part of that editorial board, we've been talking about content and audience and similar things, really. And I guess the difference, maybe, although there are similarities and parallels, the difference might be that a campaign would be for non-members, primarily, to raise awareness amongst non-members. And the magazine, the digital magazine, would be for existing members as their as a kind of membership product for them. But there must be crossovers here. I mean, there's no point in producing a magazine for 1,600 people or 1,600 organizations. It's got an enormous potential reach way beyond the membership to the commissions, to the secretariat, to people who've never heard of IUCN. And it will be designed, I think, with that kind of audience, a broader audience in mind, but specifically demonstrating what IUCN members will be doing for the protection of nature. So yeah, interested in where the two might sit together. At the moment, there seem to be parallel initiatives, but I'm sure that there are some crossover points where they can reinforce each other.
Yeah. Chris, I don't know if you would like me to respond, or if I take the comments and then respond at the end as you prefer.
Up to you entirely, but I can take another question if you'd like. Iman, I think you have your hand up. Welcome to our meeting, Iman.
Thanks, Chris, and hi, everyone, and apologies for being a bit late. I was on another call. Thanks, Grethel. It's interesting to see this moving along. I look forward to discussing it within the GCC because I think this is important as well. But perhaps as a first reaction to this, great that we have a campaign, and I would agree with Chris, it should be externally focused, but I think that beyond the campaign, this should really be, the question should really be, how do we do that in the day-to-day work? I think I would hate, and we would all hate for this to be more of a lip service and a comms exercise, rather than how do we enable that in the DNA of our work. So thanks.
Nice terminology. How do we get it into our DNA? Lovely. Ernesto.
Yeah, good morning. Hello, Grethel. It's great to see you. I think this is a fantastic idea because we believe, at least in Mesoamerica, that IUCN is not really visible. And if we really want to be, for example, having the opportunity to be advocating with the public policy, etc., we require to be IUCN more important. And on the other hand, we believe, I had a conversation yesterday with Ramon and with Ursula, and we were discussing that there are some members that they haven't realized about this, and probably members are expecting a lot from IUCN, but they haven't realized that they have the power just to be developing ideas and programs and participating, and they have to be investing time in the different spaces that IUCN is creating. And it would be great if we can really show some paths that are delivering success. So the storytelling, it's important in this particular campaign. Thank you.
Thanks, Ernesto. Are you happy to take the 3 comments?
Yes. Thank you, Chris, Ernesto, and Iman. Let me just first start with your comment, Chris. Thank you very much. You know, what we were thinking is not just on external audience. I mean, external audience, of course, is good, and any campaign will reach out to external audience. But, you know, at least from my experience, there are members who, you know, probably the ones who are connected in this meeting is not the case, but there are many members that actually do not see as visible IUCN. And there are many members that we do not know what they're doing, or what, you know, is not the same for all members. There are some that are very active, some others that are not so active, and some others that they will love to be more visible. So will have an external outreach, but also I will say that it will give visibility to to some of the parts of the union that probably have not been so visible. Now, this is not about what each individual part of the union does. It's not about what an organization does or what the secretariat does or what commission is. What are the things that we do together? And that, you know, we need to find those. And I'm sure we have many to showcase. I mean, what is it that how we use this union? Amen. Yes, of course. Of course, this should be part of the DNA of IUCN, and this is the eternal conversation that IUCN has had for many years. This is just, in my view, will be just an example, and I say an example because it is one example on how we have done things, you know, in a good way. How, and if we show that, probably we can then start saying, you know, we need to do more of the same things that we do well. So probably it's about looking the DNA, looking for the DNA and show it, because the conversation has been in a table for a very, very long time since I remember. And of course, GCC, I will share this with GCC, of course, since I'm also in that committee. Ernesto, muchas gracias por tus comentarios. It is very good to see you again. And I mean, yes, I have to agree with you that this is about visibility, about members, you know, finding the power, the potential within the union, because, you know, in a separate way, I'm sure each member has his own power. But as a union, what do we achieve? You know, this is I am at the moment just at the beginning, as I said, of this, and trying to find the fine tunes of what we should do as a next step. So this is my second meeting, and then I will have the third one now in April with the GCC, and then we'll move forward, because, you know, these initiatives are short terms. So I have to produce something, a result by the end of the year. So it's not a huge project, but it's an important one. At least I know that for many of you, it's an important one. And we would like to show something, you know, something visible and touchable, if you might want to call it that way. But thank you, Chris.
Pleasure. I'm just prompted by your slides there, just to mention some other conversations I've had recently. One thing that came up is the phrase "take IUCN seriously."
Mm-hmm.
Even if IUCN is kind of known as an organization, you know, sometimes I wonder even if state members take IUCN as seriously as they should do. So I guess that links to something on the last slide, which might be around, you know, what does success look like?
Mm-hmm.
And that's about the influence that IUCN has.
Mm-hmm.
I'm prompted to mention that actually, I think for the first time, I heard an IUCN interview on the BBC radio just this last week. It was about the High Seas, the UN High Seas Treaty, and Minna Epps was interviewed as a representative of the International Union for Conservation of Nature, and it's the first time I'd heard that on BBC radio, and that kind of made me think, well, why is it the first time, and how often should I expect to hear IUCN mentioned on the radio? So it's a kind of measure of success for anybody in any country. If they hear IUCN mentioned in the media, how did it get there? You know, is it the communications unit in IUCN, reaching out to media outlets. What's the media strategy? So I guess what I'm saying is that the Power of the Union initiative should have some sort of communication strategy with the media in order to be effective, and then members will hear results when they see them on the television or on the radio, or download a podcast or whatever it is. So these are kind of measures of success that will make the campaign real to people, because there will be results. Just simple things, really, and obvious things that I'm sure you've thought about and colleagues would have thought about already. But I suppose the question for this group is how can we help, and is there a mechanism for us to help or input into the initiative? What route that might be, whether it's through GCC or separately. Any thoughts?
I can propose that first of all, that if you invite me to your meetings, not to all, but that I can share with you how it's progressing.
Yeah.
And then you can give me the feedback there. Also, of course, I will share with GCC now that this has been approved. I will follow up probably more closely with them. But the other alternative, I think that could be good. I mean, as you might imagine, I will have to find a person that can lead this, because I have a big job in IUCN, so this is not my main job, but I am responsible to the executive board, but I will have to find probably a good communicator that can help us with this.
Okay, well, let's have an action to invite you to. We only meet every 3 months, so that shouldn't be
okay.
obvious, and there should be some progress to report there.